Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Very stupid o'clock. Well, maybe not so stupid o'clock. We'll get into that in another video. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and there's the co-host, Mr. Ramakat. Now, before we get started this morning, a few of the usual disclaimers, and like always, a few tidbits of my personal life. So why am I coming in late? Well, yesterday I had to take VTO for half the day and take off today too. Because in the middle of the day, I got a little text from the landlord. You see, Paul back there cannot walk at the moment. He got a major leg injury back on Thanksgiving and has not been able to walk ever since. Ever since. He's a smoker. So when my water started to not work, I asked and did a maintenance request. Maintenance man came over, barely said a word to either one of us, and then went off to the landlord talking about there was some guy in the middle of the floor that was smoking a cigarette. That some guy was Paul, who's the other tenant of this apartment, who, again, can't exactly go outside and smoke because, well, he can't walk. And he does not have insurance right now to be able to afford to be able to go to the doctor and get a wheelchair. Okay? So, I get this in the middle of the day and it causes a complete autistic freakout. And I'm talking an emotional meltdown and shutdown of epic proportions. I had to panic, message my boss, beg for VTO. I had two meetings. I was supposed to meet with HR yesterday, and I had a team meeting that I was supposed to participate in. But because I could all of a sudden barely be able to function, let alone be able to perform my job, I had to take emergency VTO, and I had to take today off because I have to, by some freaking miracle, be able to pull off getting this place so clean and so up to standards that they can't say a damn thing. Now, here's the interesting thing, folks. We are not under any lease with this company. We have been month to month for years, and we are under no agreement to allow some stranger to come into our home, two disabled people to come into our home and disrupt our lives like this. I pay a whole lot of money to be month to month. I have never not gotten my rent in. And now I'm getting in the middle of January an Omicron surge, and for God's sake, it's snowing outside. They're dangling this inspection / possible eviction over my head. It is ableist and it is disgusting as hell. And what makes matters worse is I was paying rent ahead of time. I actually have $600 of our rent already in their system for next month. And this is how they're going to go around and treat me. Yeah. I am furious this morning. So, in spite of what's going on in personal life, I'm not going to allow that to affect the fact that I am still fighting those bastards at the JRC. So let's get into the usual disclaimers, alright? Okay, so first off, we are going to have the link to this report right there in the description box alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, and the templates. Folks, sign your name and click on your senator, and the change.org self-explanatory Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, trigger warning, folks, on several levels. I am still pissed beyond all reason. I am nervous. I'm freaking terrified and paranoid because of all that is going on in the background there, okay? Also, there's some very ableist language in this report that comes from 1982, so my apologies for that. And also, when we are talking about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones, alright? Alright, and it is 7:08 a.m. in the morning. The only kind of energy I have is exhausting, nervous energy, damn near the kind of frantic energy that can easily go into meltdown at the slightest push. So, if I stumble over my words this morning, my apologies in advance, alright? Okay, so we are going to section 80409. It provides in relevant part as follows. This is where we left off yesterday. I'm going to need a big draught of this. The license shall arrange or assist in arranging for medical and dental care appropriate to the condition and needs of the person served. Transportation of persons to keep medical and dental appointments shall be arranged in accordance with prearranged plan. The license shall provide for assisting adults with self-administered medications as needed. Such assistance shall be limited to the following: medications usually prescribed for self-administration, which have been authorized by the person's physician. Facility personnel shall administer medications prescribed for children. Respondent has violated 80409 as follows. During the period from September 1980 through February 1981, and on unknown occasions before and after that period, respondent canceled medical appointments for a resident if that resident was too bruised. God, that's insane. In or about May 1980, respondent attempted to postpone a doctor's appointment previously scheduled for blank because he was bruised. The appointment was finally canceled because respondent's employees could not cooperate to provide necessary transportation for blank. On occasion during the period of September through December 1980, and on unknown occasions before and after that period, residents, including blank, would not receive suppositories needed for bowel problems. Oh my God! During the period from December 1980 through July 1981, blank was given 2 aspirin and Collis every night without a physician's direction. Section 80319 provides that personnel shall be sufficient in numbers and competent to provide the services for which the facility is licensed. Respondent has violated 80319 as follows. Respondent, on numerous occasions from 1979 through the present, failed to employ sufficient numbers of persons to adequately supervise and care for residents to conform with its own staffing plan. Section 80311 states, each license shall furnish to the department or the licensing agency such reports as the department may require, including but not limited to the following: death, injury, and unusual incidents. A report within 48 hours by telephone or telegraph shall be made to the department or to the licensing agency and to the person or persons responsible for the resident concerning the death of any resident from any cause, any serious injury as determined by attending physician, and any unusual incident which threatens the welfare, safety, or health of any resident, such as physical or psychological abuse of a resident by staff or other residents, or unexplained absence of any resident. A written report shall be submitted to the department or the licensing agency within 7 days following any such event. This report shall include the name, age, sex, date of the admission of the resident, date of event, and nature's event, physician's findings, and treatment, if any, name of the attending physicians and disposition of this case. Respondent failed to comply with Section 80311 as follows. Respondent failed to report incidents set forth in paragraphs, let's see here, that is 14, 15, 16, and 18 of this accusation. On or about December 9th, 1980, blank received burns. Respondent failed to report this incident to the licensing agency until February 5th, 1981. On or about November 25th, 1980, blank received a cut and a fall. The cut required suturing, which was performed at Granada Hills Community Hospital. Respondent failed to notify the department of this incident until March 20th, 1981. The respondent failed to submit an incident report to the community care licensing concerning a black eye suffered by blank in or about March 1980. They go above and beyond to hide any injuries. Not just any injuries they cause, but even accidental, don't they? It should be very telling. At least it is to me. Health and Safety Code Section 1522 AB2 provides that before issuing a license or special permit to any person or persons to operate or manage a community care facility, the State Department shall secure from an appropriately law enforcement agency a criminal record to determine whether the applicant or any other person specified in subdivision has ever been convicted of a crime other than a minor traffic violation. If it is found that the applicant or any other person specified in subdivision has been convicted of a crime other than minor traffic violation, the application shall be denied unless the director grants an exemption. In addition to the appointment, the provisions of this section shall be applicable to criminal convictions of the following persons: any person residing or regularly in the facility having routine contact with the residents. Section 80319 provides all personnel shall either have training or related experience in the job assigned to them. They don't. Oh, you mean 3 weeks? Yes, God. Kill me. All specified personnel shall be qualified by training or experience in accordance with recognized professional standards. Section 80325 provides that for all persons working in the facility, including the license, the administrator and employees, there shall be a record of health administration, including a chest x-ray or intradermal test performed by a physician not more than 6 months prior to employment or within 7 days after employment. Section 80315 provides only licensed drivers shall be permitted to operate motor vehicles used in transporting residents. The driving record of employees where duties include transport of residents shall be secured from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Section 80345 provides each license of a community care facility, other than the county, shall file or have a file with the Department Licensing Agency a bond issued by a surety company if the licensing is handling or will handle money in the amount of $50 or more per person or $500 or more for all the persons in the facility in any month. Section 80408 provides staffing providing care shall receive appropriate training in first aid from persons qualified by such agencies as the Red Cross. Respondent has violated Health and Safety Code Section 1522 and Sections 80315, 80319, 80325, and 80345, 80409 as follows. On or about July 22nd, 1981, BRI had submitted fingerprint cards for the facility nurse and many staff members. Number 2, on July 22nd, 1981, BRI did not have a bond. Number 3, on or about July 22nd, 1981, BRI did not have proof in the facility files that a driving record had been obtained from the Department of Motor Vehicles on each employee whose duties included transporting residents. Isn't that just standard on any job? I mean, my God, I had to give my state ID to be copied to freaking Taco Bell. What the hell? On or about July 22nd, 1981, facility files kept treatment workers staff did not have verification of college degrees. On or about July 22nd, 1981, respondent did not have either a physician's report or TB test results on the following persons, blank, 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 and blank. On or about July 22nd, 1981, there was no evidence on file that any staff person other than the facility nurse had first aid training. This one's telling. Very telling indeed, because what this is telling us, ladies and gentlemen, is what we already knew, but now we have it in official report form. So, two things. One, there is documented evidence for refusal to take these students to the hospital or to their doctor's appointments, and that was done in fear of them noticing the bruising. Number two, I find it very interesting because they didn't even do very basic pre-employment stuff that everybody does. Copy of ID, copy of Social Security, making sure that these people are actually licensed to be able to operate a motor vehicle. Basic standard stuff that is done at every single job, every single where, in every single state. Oh, but it gets better. They also were put in there with completely inadequate training. These folks were not certified. A good majority did not have the degrees that are necessary to perform the jobs that they got put in. Yeah. And folks, if you think it has gotten better, I encourage you to go out to Autistic Hoy's archive and pull up the New York Department of Special Education's 2006 report, because the only difference between that report and this one is they're using electric shock. Pretty much everything else is exactly the same. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close out, but I still got a few comments to give you here. On this channel, I like to not just talk to you about JRC, but about the ableism that people like me face out in the world every single day. And it's not always in institutions as extreme as the JRC. It can be in situations like the one I described to you at the beginning of this video. Situations where you have disabled people. Maybe they don't like the fact that you're on month to month. So they bring something up new just about every 2 to 3 months or so to basically traumatize, scare, and bully disabled tenants. And when they can't get a hold of Paul in this situation, they always go to me first. And why do you think they do that? It's very simple. I came into this apartment while it was being managed by a different company, doing what I always do, full disclosure. And I do that so that they cannot then go back later and say that I did not do full disclosure and therefore do not qualify for the full protections under the ADA and the Missouri Disability Bill of Rights. But it's a double-edged sword, because people will then look at that as a means and a way to either manipulate me, bully me, scare me, or try to do something to get me out of my home. And unfortunately, this is by far not the first time that this kind of behavior has been used against me and has happened. It has happened once before. The way people treat people with disabilities, especially autistic people, is beyond disgusting. It really, truly is. And the fact that I know for a fact this new company has on file my diagnosis and that they did what they did in the middle of my workday. When they know my diagnosis, they know I will get upset and I will freak out, but they did it anyway. That's about as twisted as you get this side of the JRC, folks. When disabled people tell you that there is hatred and bigotry thrown at us every day, don't clap back with us, well, you have ABA and then you have this and that and this and that. You're not discriminated against. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because stuff like this little stuff, isn't so little to us. And we go through it all the time. With people who see a diagnosis and then think that they can use it to go ahead and bully us in order to get their way. Because maybe they don't like the weird person who exercises at 1 a.m. to be around living in their facility. So they're going to bully and try to push their way into getting what they want. This is why I do this on this channel. So I can bring awareness to what goes on, the underlying current that the world doesn't want you to see and that the world doesn't want you to care about. And on that note, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close out this morning. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. And the few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments and feed that algorithm. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.